Well, you're in the shop again with RV Shop and Chef, and this is a maintenance task. You probably have this in your life as well, but we have a BX7365 Blue Ox Alpha Towbar. And this one has got a problem, and so we're going to do the job today to fix that problem, and that is a torn boot on the piston arm that goes out to the front end of the car. The Blue Ox is in pretty good shape. It's seen some years, but in general, okay. And here you'll notice that right where these boots come on to the arms of the tow bar, there were a pair of wire ties. And here are their replacements, because I've already gotten into them. So there you can see the part number, BX7365. And what do you get in that kit? Well, let's take a quick look. So there's the little bag, and it came with 2 boots on the kit. There we can see them to replace these worn and torn boots here. And here you can see the 4 wire ties. And so you've got 2 wire ties that are small. You see those? Those are the little ones. And then you have 2 wire ties that are big. The bigs go back here on the back end of the tow bar, and the smalls go up here. So basically what I've done is I took a pair of wire cutters and I snipped off the bigs here and here. And so then what you have to do is out here on this end, you're going to need a couple of wrenches and a flat wrench or a socket and a flat wrench, and you're going to want to remove, you can see this one a little better, you're going to want to remove, there's the bolt and the nylock nut that's on the other side, and remove this head. You'll notice that it has an up arrow on the end of it, so remember how to reassemble it. And then the next thing you do is you need to strip the grease off of this bar and then re-grease these fittings. Right here at the entry point, you're going to want to clean that up and get the grease, accumulated grease off. I didn't have everything handy, and so I didn't have what I thought might be a better stripper. I would use brake cleaner. But instead I did have a carbon choke cleaner, and this will absolutely strip off what's on that. Alright, so we're going to remove this arm right here. You want to be able to return the way it came off. So remember which way is up, and then we're going to want to put that on the upside of the bar. Well, here's the 2 new nuts. It came in the package along with all of these new wire ties off. And now you're down to the rod, this piece right here, which was very greasy. And basically what I'm going to do is take this spray, as you can see here. This is carburetor choke cleaner. New boot. It has an open wide hole right there to go down over the top of the arm. Alright, I have a silicone product here. You guys can see this heavy duty silicone. It's a CRC product, pretty good commercial thing. what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to spray the inside of that boot. And the whole purpose of this is to slip it over this stick. So that boot is leaking out, and so we know it's ruined. So probably the quickest way to deal with this is just use your pocket knife and see if you can cut that boot off. The mission now is to put the new boot on. Now there is something down here that I'll remind you, and that is in the example I had, I didn't show you that both of these bushings need to go in. So as you look at reassembly, we'll come back and put a bushing on either side of this arm when we slip it inside of that fitting. So, but for right now, the big challenge is to take this boot and waggle it over the end of the arm. What I wanted to show you, I actually have white lithium grease. I heard lithium grease is a good choice. The white is a little ugly, but I don't have the black. It's on the coach. And so all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to dress this pole. And I'm going to the most important thing, we're going to put a wire tie on there, right? And so I'm going to set this right on top of this pole, right there. And then I'm going to cinch it up with that wire tie here. So you can see there's the wire tie going on that came in the kit. That goes. And now the next thing I want to do is release this pole. And I'm going to bring it down 2/3 of the way or thereabouts. I'm going to set the boot up around the neck. And if you take a good look, do you see where there's a little channel right here? And so what we want to do is we want to set that right on the channel and take the new wire tie. Here it is. And we're going to get that new wire tie to seat this boot right in that channel. But, yep. That's where that's going to need to go. And yeah, it's sitting down in that channel pretty well. So now we have it. Basically, that's what you're looking for. The last thing that we need to do is we're going to put our foot on. And there it is. I call it a foot, but we're going to want to assemble that. And so there's a bushing here and there. And my thinking is that that bushing probably ought to be greased, so that it will move as well. And so to finish up, I'm just going to apply a light layer of grease here and on here. Both of those are done. And then I'm going to apply both of the bushings now. Alright, here's where we put a ratchet on one side and a ratchet on the other. And we'll just walk that bolt and the nylock nut right out of that foot at the end. There's the nut off to be able to extract the bolt. Now the one thing I wanted you to see, note the bushings when this comes out. There's the bushing and here's the bushing. Let's make sure Note the bushings there. Let's make sure that we put those back in. Alright, generally I'll clean up my hardware with a emery cloth. That bolt was rusty, and so I'll be rotating that around on this piece of emery cloth to clean it up. And the mission there is just to put it back in good shape. And there we have the emery cloth. We'll just work on a clean up before we do the reassemble. Do what we can. And there's the second wire tie, and we've got that loose, and the wire tie at the top is now loose. And so for arm number 2, we're ready to pull that over the top of the fitting. Okay, there's our old boot off the rod. Now you can see the rest of the arm. Not particularly pretty. And I'll probably just spray the rag so I don't spray the other boot, and then use that to help me get this off. A whole lot prettier. Now we'll kind of work the where the boot goes into the arm. And okay, we've stripped off that arm. All of it is cleared. We've got a pretty clean arm. Now what we're going to do is apply that silicone grease and get that to where it's nicely lubricated. So I'm just going to start like this, and there's probably no real magic to it. I'm going to be liberal. Alright, there you have it. The second arm. Looks like I got a little on the boot. I'll clean that up. And now we're ready to assemble the new boot. I'm just going to apply a little bit of silicone to where those bushings are going to go. Good. Alright, so the next thing is the boot. Okay, shop fans, there's your replacement silicone boot. I kept the other one. This one's ready to go. Been sprayed inside with silicone lubricant to help it shimmy over the stick. And so we just want to remember to put the fat end first to go down to the base. Alright, that wasn't hard at all. It went right over. Alright, now we have collapsed the arm down, and we're ready to put the boot over the little channel there. And I'll have to use both hands to get my wire tie. But you can see there's a channel right here that we're going to get that wire tie to sit in to keep the boot captured right over the top of that. Alright, it's time for the reassembly. And there you can see the foot. And that foot will need to be slid right into the end of the arm. Notice I've got both of the bushings, right? They're kind of captured in the grease there. So you got a bushing on the top and you got a bushing on the bottom. And I've got some grease on the top and bottom as well. May put a little extra coating on the top of this one. And then we're just going to slip that foot right in there and then run the bolt through. So, all right, now we've got the foot in. You can see the whole assembly. We've got the rod in. Both the boots are seated at the base. We've got our little bolt through. And there's the new nut right there that we're going to apply. We'll run that down until it's firm with the nylock holding it in place. Got our up symbol this direction, so I think we're pretty good right now. All right, shop fans. A few things we needed. Some heavy-duty silicone spray. Some mosquito spray. Something to clean the rods off. I used carbon choke cleaner because that's all I had. I used the super white. This is a white lithium grease. It's what I had. I also usually use the green Lucas heavy-duty grease on the bottom of our coach, but this is what was available right now. So we've got white lithium grease in the fittings, and there we have the whole setup. It's in pretty clean shape, and so I'll clean the grease off the exterior, and then let's snip a chunk of that off. There we go, probably a chunk of this, and I'm leaving a piece just so that I can come back. I feel like I've got that really cinched down, and so when I'm confident that I can't get any more out of it, I'm going to spend a two-handed bit of time on this to make sure that I've got those tight as they'll go. Looks like we're in good shape. You know, those are caught in their little channels, so I think we're good. Up here it looks like we're really cinched down. So both the boots are good, the feet are back on, the bushings are inside the edges of the feet and they're in good shape. Both of the bolts are through and the nuts are on the back. I've got my pins back in place. And so I think she's ready to rock.